Many local sports fans are still recovering from disappointment with the New England Patriots, but they can begin their countdown to new hopes for the Boston Red Sox with the start of spring training on February 12th. To tell us about what's taking shape in the offseason is the team historian and strategic communications advisor with Fenway Sports Group, Gordon Edes. Thank you very much for being with us, Gordon.
Chris, we can indeed begin that countdown. I mean, with the Pats getting eliminated, and you noted February 12th, that's only 5 weeks. And if you've been paying attention in recent years, you know a lot of our pitchers and catchers, and even some of our position players report early. The fort will be hopping very sooner than later.
Well, one of the things that's already happened in this offseason, much earlier, is you have a new person in the front office, Chaim Bloom. Tell us about him.
Yeah, and Chaim is not only new, but he also has a new title. We've never had a chief baseball officer before. Chaim comes to us, he's young. He spent 15 years with the Tampa Bay Rays. We all know how innovative their front office is, and certainly they've set the template for how to be innovative and creative while working with limited resources. What fascinates me about Chaim, among other things, is his academic background. Was a classics major at Yale with a concentration in Latin. Now, doesn't that scream baseball to you, Chris?
Well, we had a commissioner who was pretty good in that.
Yeah, it's Bart Giamatti. Yes, indeed. You know, so and of course we had a general manager here of recent vintage who was, I think we could safely say, was successful. It was another Yaley, and that was Theo Epstein.
Well, more recently, one thing I remember about the Tampa Bay team from even just the last couple of years, they were lean but competitive, and I was sort of impressed by that. Is that something maybe that we can look forward to in the future with the Sox?
Did you say they were lean but competitive?
In lean, I mean financially.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, we haven't morphed overnight into a small market team. I mean, John Henry, Tom Warner, they have some resources at their disposal. But as you know, there's been a lot of conversation about their desire to get under the luxury tax threshold, which I believe is $208 million. And that's really no different from what other big market teams have done in recent years, including both the Yankees and the Dodgers. And it was actually because the Yankees got back under that threshold that they were able to make the huge free agent signing that they made this winter when they signed pitcher Garrett Cole for north of $300 million. So clearly, Chaim's going to have to be pretty creative to find a way to get under that threshold. Our ownership has said that's it's a desire. It's not a mandate to get under it, but clearly, I think the approach and what made Chaim so appealing to our ownership is that the Rays, their history suggests that they're very good at building a minor league system, at having depth on their 40-man roster, and those are the two things that Chaim's going to be focused on. You know, rebuilding our system, having depth in a 40-man roster, because that's how you have sustained success in this game.
What about the attitude of fans coming into the season? You know, over the past year, I'm sure there are people who probably tuned out because they were disappointed. And on the other hand, I remember when I was growing up following the Sox, if they came in fifth, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah, and you know, we must have grown up in a similar age, because I remember how excited I was as a kid. You know, the Red Sox had, I mean, in 1966 they finished in 9th place, and then in '67, the impossible dream year, they win the pennant, and that was so unexpected. And when you think of the great career that Ted Williams had, you know, 21 seasons in a Red Sox uniform, and he went to one World Series. So we've been spoiled. There's no question. With 4 World Series titles already in the span of 15 seasons. But you know, we can't do a total rebuild like you've seen teams like the Houston Astros do, or even the Chicago Cubs. Our fan base would not tolerate 100 loss seasons. That's just not in our DNA. Our fans expect us to be perennial contenders year after year, and we expect that of ourselves. So while they're, I talk about things like rebuilding the depth of the 40-man roster and rebuilding the minor league system, that comes with the proviso that we're also in the middle of things in the American League East as well.
Well, these days, of course, we have free agency. A lot of concern here about Mookie Betts, a great talent, great team player, but at the same time, there might have to be a change.
Well, let's make this clear at the top. I mean, Mookie is a generational player. I mean, you know that. You've watched him. Generational players don't come around that often. So our ownership has made it clear for the last several years, really, that they would love to keep Mookie in a Red Sox uniform for the rest of his career. I mean, there have been a number of occasions in the past where we've approached his agent and offered contract extensions. Mookie, to this point, has indicated a desire to test free agency. He's eligible for free agency, as you note, after this coming season. He certainly earned that right. I mean, that's his prerogative. That's not to say that we're not going to re-sign him, but if our ownership, our management, baseball ops people, Chaim, make the determination that Mookie's going to leave, well, then you have to consider the possibility that of moving him at a time where you could get something in return. But I'm optimistic that Mookie will be in a Red Sox uniform at the start of the 2020 season, but clearly there's moves still to be made, and that's got to be on the table. Everything's on the table.
We're talking with Gordon Edes from the Boston Red Sox, the team historian. Gordon, I know some people are going to be going down to Florida for spring training, but for people who can't go that far, you do have an event coming up even sooner in Massachusetts. Tell us about that.
Yeah, for me, it's almost become it used to be Truck Day. We used to celebrate as the start of a baseball season, but for me, Winter Weekend has become the unofficial start of baseball season in New England. This will be our 6th year of doing Winter Weekend. This will be the first time we do it out in Springfield, in Western Mass at the MGM Springfield, and some events will also be held across the street at the Mass Mutual Center. It's a 2-day event. It runs Friday, January 17th and Saturday, January 18th. It kicks off with why do I use a football term, right? It kicks off. Its opening salvo will be a town hall on that Friday night. Our ownership is there. Our management, CEO Sam Kennedy, Chaim will be there. Our manager, Alex Cora. We introduce our 2020 roster as it stands in January. Most of our guys do come and attend the event. Our fans have an opportunity at that town hall to ask questions of everyone. And then the following day, that Saturday, from morning to night, basically from everyone in your family, from the little kids all the way up to your grandparents, we plan activities, whether it's the kids getting to take some swings in the batting cage, run the bases, pretend they're Jerry Remy and do a half an inning of a broadcast in a simulated booth. We have panel discussions, autograph sessions, photo opportunities. A lot of our great alumni are there. In the past years, Pedro's been there, Big Papi's been there, Jason Varitek, Jim Rice, Eck, I can go on and on. So it's just a midwinter's immersion, Chris, into baseball and all things Red Sox. So it typically sells out or comes close to selling out. So anybody who does want to go should hop online, redsox.com/winter weekend, or call 1-877-RED-SOX-9.
There's one thing that might not have changed all that much over the years. I mean, I grew up when I was able to watch a lot of games on TV. Kurt Gowdy was doing play-by-play at the time. But going to Fenway Park for my first game, totally different. What was it like for you?
Well, I mean, and I'm dating myself here a little bit, Chris, but I can tell you the first time I went to Fenway Park was before my family owned a color TV. So when I came up that ramp on the first base grandstand side and beheld the green monster and that impossibly green grass of the outfield. I have never seen, for me it was like walking, it was like the scene in The Wizard of Oz where everything goes from black and white to color. And yeah, that made a lasting impression on me. I remember, the classic first day of school assignment. What did I do during summer vacation? Well, my essay topic was, my first visit to Fenway Park. Maybe that was a harbinger of the career that was to come as a sports writer. Maybe that was my first article, Chris. But in that sense, I don't know how much things have changed because I know Sam Kennedy has said repeatedly, get us a kid to come into Fenway one time and we'll make a fan for life, because there is still something magical about that place. I talk about it with my job. People say, well, what do you, Red Sox historian, what does that entail? So you know what? That's what my business card says, but what I really am, I'm the ghost whisperer, man. I go out there, I can see Ted Williams standing in left field, Pearsall in center, Tony C in right, Jimmy Fox or the boomer, George Scott at first base, Rico, on and on. So, I think Fenway still retains a special allure, and that's why, regardless of how well we're playing, I think that's why we packed the house.
We should mention there are still some empty seats, so people want some more information about that or the upcoming events. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so season tickets are on sale pretty much around the year, but last month, our single game tickets and our Sox packs, which has proven to be very popular, where we package 4 games together. Sometime I know one of the packages includes opening day, another one includes the Yankees. There's a rivalry packages, weekend packages. Anyway, those have all gone on sale. Again, online, redsox.com/tickets, 1-877 Sox 9. And for people who live in the hood, all they have to do is walk over to our ticket office, and we'll sell them some ducats.
Thank you very much for being with us, and best of luck in 2020.
Thank you, Chris.
Gordon Edes from the Boston Red Sox.